Let's write polynomial equations from the graph. So your first step is to identify your x-intercepts. We have an x-intercept here at -3, -2, and -1, and there's also one over there at +1. All right, so our first step after we identify those x-intercepts is the same first step as the last video. You want to write out this equation in factored form with its x-intercepts, and you want to put your a value in there. And we're going to solve for a. We don't really know what a is yet, but we're going to solve for a. And remember, a is the leading coefficient. So now I'm going to find a point I can plug into this guy. And there seems to be a point down here at the y, on the y-axis at 0, -6. So that gives us an x and y that we can plug in. The x is 0 and the y is -6. All right, so we're going to do our thing and start simplifying here. Simplify so we can solve for a. Let's see, we got 3 times 2 times 1 times -1. All that gives us -6 on the right side, -6a. So a is equal to 1. So our final answer is going to be y equals 1 times all those factors we wrote out earlier. You could also write this without the 1 in the front, because whether the 1 is there or not, the leading coefficient will still be 1 for this problem. And that's it. So same as writing the equations from verbal descriptions, it's just this time we have the graph and we have to find things in the graph before we can start the problem. All right, let's do another one. So for this next one, we're going to start off the same way. Y'all ready for this? Okay, here we go. So this guy looks like he has a double root, a triple root, and a single root. So we need to take that into account when we're writing out the factors of this polynomial. There is a double root out there at -1. Looks like this is on a scale of 1/2. So we got to be careful there. There's a triple root at 2 and a single root out here at 4. So I'm going to write this out in factored form with all of the x-intercepts that we just identified, and our double root is squared and our triple root is cubed. Now I'm going to plug in a point from this graph, and we can plug in any point on this graph, but I'm just going to plug in the y-intercept. It's down there at 0, -4. That means when we plug this in to solve for a, y is -4, x is 0. Okay, so now we're doing all that work so that we can figure out what a is equal to. Don't forget the exponents when you're simplifying here. We'll get 1 squared times -2 cubed times -4. That's going to give us +32. So it'll be -4 equals 32a. So a is equal to -4 over 32. And we simplify that, -1/8. And our final step, just like all the other problems we've done, we just rewrite the first step with our a value now in there. So I rewrite that first line of work, and a is now -1/8. The leading coefficient is -1/8. And guys, that's it. So same as the previous ones, you just have to find the information from the graph. All right, guys.